Everybody, this is a guided walkthrough for the FindMe challenge from picoCTF. This is a medium level challenge in the web app hacking category from the picoCTF 2023 event. The description says, help us test the form by submitting the username as test and password as test! Additional details will be available after launching your challenge instance. So this is another challenge where we need to start the virtual machine by clicking on the launch instance button over here. After we do that, after a few moments, you're going to see a timer, instance timer remaining, and this is how you know that the instance is running and we can solve the challenge. So we also see a link now, the website running here. We can go ahead and put this in a new tab and then access the challenge over here. So it says, help us test this form, username test and password test. So this is a bit of a rabbit hole. Because it says username test, password test, period. But the challenge says that we need to use test! as the password. So we got to be careful here. So username test, password test, ! When we click on confirm over here, it says, welcome fellow human, I was redirected here by a friend of mine, but I couldn't find anything. Help me search for flags. Here's the thing, the flags are not here because the flags were actually the redirections along the way. And let's talk about this concept that we need to understand to finish this challenge. So we're talking about URL redirection in this challenge. So URL redirection is a feature of web pages that causes requests to a web page to be redirected to another web page. So this is what a redirection might look like in the PHP language. So header location redirect.php. Location, it's not always going to be redirect.php. It could be the name of any other web page. But all HTTP response codes in the 3xx range indicate a redirection, and the location header tells the browser which URL to redirect to. So if we get a response to our HTTP request that has 30 something, well, it could be 3 something something, and the location header in the response is going to say where we're going to be redirected to. So let's go ahead and take a look at what happens for this request when we submit this. Let's go back. The funny thing is when we click back in the browser, it tells us what pages we accessed before. So, interesting. So this is base64 encoded information, and what we're going to do is we're going to recreate this. We're going to take a look at the source code for this challenge. In the source code, it tells us what exactly is happening when we click on the submit button. So we're going to submit a username and a password in a post request. So where does it say post request? I'm pretty sure it says it somewhere in here. Okay, it says method post, and it's going to be to the login endpoint over here. So we've got all the information here to make this request ourselves, and we're going to make it inside of the curl command. So we're just going to go over to our web shell. In the web shell, what we can do is type in curl. We're going to get the URL for this particular website. We're going to paste it in, and we're going to add login to the end over here, because the endpoint we're actually contacting via the post request is the login page. So at the beginning of the curl command, we're going to do verbose. Verbose output is going to give us a lot more information about what happens when we give this request. We're also going to give some data. So the data we're going to give is the username and password. So we're going to type in username equals test and password equals test exclamation point. Actually, when we use the exclamation point, we can't use these double quotes. With the exclamation point in here, we have to use single quotes, otherwise the terminal is going to act really weird. Okay, so when we give this request, curl-v-d in the single quotes, username equals test and password equals test, to this endpoint, which is the login page over here. These are HTTP request headers. These are the HTTP response headers over here. So this gives us the indication that we're being redirected. So 302 found, it's going to give us the location of the next page over here. And what we're going to do is we're going to follow these redirects using curl. So we're just going to give the same command again, but this time we're going to tack on an extra -L onto the curl command. So -L is going to follow the redirections inside of curl. Usually curl doesn't do redirections. We need to give this additional part of the curl command to have it follow the redirections. When we give this command, then we're going to get all of the redirections here. So our first request results in a redirect, and the redirect is to this endpoint here. And the second redirect, sorry, the second request is going to result in a 200 OK. But even though it says 200 OK in here, there's actually some JavaScript code in here that redirects us as well. And the JavaScript code is this. So this JavaScript code is also going to redirect us to another page. The interesting thing about both of these redirects is that there's a URL parameter in here that looks like base64 encoded information. So what we're going to do is we're just going to grab both of these. So this is the one for the first request. Just going to copy that. Copy that, go down to the end. We're going to echo out this information. Okay, echo out the information, paste in the first part of the code, then we're going to get the second part of the code over here. Copy that as well, and paste in this information. And then we're going to, well, let me first do this. Okay, we're going to echo out this information, and then we're going to pipe it into base64 decode. So when we do base64 decode, we get the flag. So it says picoCTF proxies all the way. So all we need to do to finish the challenge is highlight the flag, copy it, then go over to the picoCTF webpage, paste in the flag, submit the flag, and then we're done. Okay, so before we finish the challenge, let's just do a little review of what we did in this challenge. Okay, so this was the FindMe challenge, and the key concept for this challenge was URL redirection. So the challenge asks us to log in with the following credentials: test, username test, password test. After we do that, we were redirected to 2 pages, and the ID parameters look like base64 encoded strings. So we can give this curl command here to follow redirections after we give our credentials here, and then we can put together the base64 encoded strings to get the flag. All right, everybody, that was a guided walkthrough for the Find Me exercise over at picoCTF. If you enjoyed this guided walkthrough, please click on the like and subscribe buttons on the video and leave a comment underneath the video. But until next time, HackerFrogs out!
Hey there, HackerFrogs! Are you enjoying this workshop? Learning new concepts and skills? If so, there's a way you can support the channel, and it's totally free. Just click on the subscribe button below the video. Also, click on the like button. And if you have questions or comments on this workshop, please leave them below the video. Thanks for listening. And now, back to our scheduled programming.